Saturday night, 100 years of Selhurst Park. It's another stadium fight. Ben Shalom, just briefly before we go to the fighters, feels like we've been talking about this fight forever, and now it's here. It really is exciting.
5 years, did you say? Yeah, it feels like forever. I think both fighters have improved so much in the past couple of years, in particular, fighters that we've worked very closely with, Chris Billam-Smith, from European level, from headlining for the first time. This is his third world title fight, back-to-back, headlining another stadium. It's been an unbelievable journey, and he'll want the journey to continue with Richard Riakporhe, the first fighter that we signed. The first fighter that opened in an 8-rounder on our first Skysports broadcast, worked incredibly hard, improved a lot as well, and now finds himself challenging for a world title against Chris Billam-Smith. Richard Riakporhe being the only man to ever beat Chris. It's got everything. As you said, the rematch. They know each other well. It's a domestic world title fight in a stadium. For British boxing fans, it doesn't get quite bigger than this.
We welcome both trainers to the top table as well, but let's go straight to the fighters and everyone will get their chance. Let's go to the champion, Chris Billam-Smith. Worked so desperately hard to win that world title. What do you need to do on Saturday to make sure it's going back down the road to Bournemouth?
Be myself. That's what I need to do on Saturday, is be myself. All the experience I've had of world championship fights, you know, and the camps and being on those big shows, headlining the big shows, just use all that experience and go in there and perform.
Heard that word a lot in the build-up, experience. Can you quantify and qualify just how important that is? Can you put yourself in Richard Riakporhe's shoes? It wasn't so long ago that you were at the top table for your first world title fight. You were walking into the stadium for your first stadium fight. How important is that experience?
Yeah, the experience is everything. It's the experience that I had even before that, going into that stadium fight, where I'd luckily headlined shows back home and had that big occasion, which was great experience I needed for going into the world title fight at the stadium. So that was key for me. And I mean, Johnny Nelson said it yesterday, you can't buy experience, you can't fake it. You have to experience to get it, to gain that. And thankfully I've got that.
How much better do you think you are now compared to when you fought the first time in 2019?
I'm different in so many ways. It's so irrelevant because I almost see it as a different person and almost see myself as like it's 20 years ago in boxing terms. It seems that long ago because I'm such a different fighter. And yeah, it's been a great journey from then to now, and it's the experience and the growth that I've had has been is massive.
In a number of ways, it wouldn't be a Chris Billam-Smith fight week if there wasn't some sort of drama going on in the background. And you probably won't tell us, but what have we had so far? We've had completing on a house. I think was Frank, your son, born around the time you were masking illness last time. I do have to say, on the surface this time, you've cut a very relaxed and happy fighter. So now is your chance to tell us the truth.
No, I'm good. It's actually, this is a very stress-free weeks for me, and I'm enjoying it. You know, it's great to be on a massive show in London as well. You know, it's the capital. It's where all the massive fights happen, and I'm just enjoying every moment.
Let's go to the challenger. We'll come back to you, Chris, in due time. Welcome, Richard. Your first world title final press conference. In the build-up, you've been describing yourself as a salivating hyena. As you sit here now, how would you describe how you're feeling and what we're going to get on Saturday?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I've been waiting for this opportunity for a very long time, as you know, and I'm just hungry. I'm ready to challenge for this title, take this title, and I want to win some more titles.
You've been very good in the build-up with some of your verbal attacks, and I think when you're on Sky Sports News, you said depending on what footwear he wears to the press conference will determine how I feel about what round I knock him out in. So have you sized him up, and can you give us a little bit more of an insight into what you think now on Saturday?
Well, I need to see his shoes first. I haven't seen what he's wearing, but it's just a bit of banter. It's just a bit of banter, man. But yeah, you know what you're gonna get. It's a proper fight. A lot of people love the first one, and they're very interested in seeing the second one. So we're ready to get it on.
Yeah, I'll ask you the same question that I asked Chris there. How much do you think you are a better fighter compared to 2019? What would the Richard Riakporhe that sits here now, what would he do to the Richard Riakporhe that fought in the first fight? Is it chalk and cheese? Do you believe that you have improved that much under Angel Fernandez, that you are a better all-rounded fighter?
Absolutely. I know my way around the ring now. Boxing IQ, I've been in a lot of situations in the ring and I've able to overcome them. So yeah, it's given me a lot more confidence. My team is very professional, training up in Loughborough University, got the best facilities in the country, very meticulous team that I'm working with. So, it's definitely added to my game. All of those little percents here, it adds, and you're going to see when we fight on Saturday. How
relevant is the first fight? I think everybody can admit and appreciate that you are two very different fighters now. You were both 9-0 at the time, and now what are we? 19 and 19 wins and one loss for Chris and 17-0 for you. But do you believe that you've made the necessary adjustments that you can win this fight inside the distance? Chris was very vocal that he believes he will win this fight inside the distance.
Well, yeah.
Is it even important to you?
To be honest, it's win. The win is the most important thing. I'm naturally a power puncher. I look for the knockouts. I don't want to go 12 rounds. I always want to finish the fight within the distance, which is why people have grown to like me over time. And yeah, we know how to skin a cat. There's many different ways.
Crystal Palace have been very, very supportive of you. Have you dared yourself to start to visualise how you'll feel at the top of the ring wall when you've got over 15,000 in there cheering you on? I put it to you earlier in the week that might be added pressure, but you almost stopped me and said, no, it's a privilege. It won't affect me in a negative way. It's nothing but positive.
No, it's a privilege to have that type of support in South London, where all of us are able to resonate with each other, because we know how it is growing up in such a tough environment, and it's breeded us, and it's basically conditioned us for these moments. You know what I mean? It's given us a different type of mentality. That's why we say we're cut from a different cloth. To grow up there, you have to be tough, and to have that support. And I get a lot of random people coming up to me and saying, "Look, Rich, I know you're going to do it," because they know it's once we get these opportunities, we take it with both hands.
Chris told us earlier in the week that he believes he wins this fight inside the distance, and when I put that to you, you said that you don't think that Chris believes his own words. Do you still stand by that?
Yeah, I do stand by that, because I've never heard him say that until recently. He could have said that from the very beginning. I've been saying what I've been saying from the very beginning, so I don't take that. I don't take that as truth.
You also said you think he's in decline, and that you've heard through the boxing grapevine, which is a weird and wonderful place, that he is on the decline.
To be fair, I never really watched Chris. Obviously, I was at the fights, but I was more watching it as a boxing fan. And sometimes I go on Twitter and I'll see some of the comments, what people say about the performances, and to say the least, it wasn't really good. A lot of people mentioned about the deterioration, and it kind of brought it to light. And then that's when I thought, you know what, let me see what this deterioration is really about. Because boxing is not easy. Sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes you have an off day, have a bad performance. It's normal. It happens in football all the time. But when I watch the fights back, from a technical analysis, I started to see a lot of gaps. And I wondered, what's the difference? I watched my fight back with him, and I noticed he was much more live. He was fresh, But I feel like it's the normal wear and tear on a boxer. When you're taking too much shots, when you're gifted with a chin like CBS, sometimes you want to say it's not affecting you, but it is. It's science, and you can't avoid it, which is why we can't stay in our prime forever. And we're going to see what he has left. Maybe he's still all right, maybe he's not, but it all depends on when I land the shots in the final.
I'll give you the chance to come back on that and also bring in the wider team in Shane McGuigan. Are you on the decline? Is the word on Twitter the right word to take? And Shane, do you have any thoughts on that as well?
To be honest, I couldn't hear a lot of what was being said. But my answer to the deterioration thing is, I think he's just hoping for it, to be honest, and that's what he's hoping for. So there's no decline, and you'll see that on Saturday night.
I think one of the things that we all took from some of the things that were said in the build-up is that, Richard has gone with Angel Fernandez and improved perhaps his all-round game, but Chris's punching power is being slept on in some regard, that he is punching a lot harder now compared to 2019. What else do you think he's added to his game?
Just all around, he's got the experience. He uses his jab a lot more effective. He doesn't waste energy. He doesn't run around the ring. He's a lot more poised when he's in there. He uses his feints to his advantage, and he's got that inner belief. These are the things that can make those attacks a lot more meaningful. Do you know what I mean? Like as a novice pro coming out of the amateurs, you don't know how to set up attacks. Whereas, does their power really increase? A little bit. Does their jab and speed really increase? Not really. It's just about how they set the attacks up, how they go about it, how they sustain attacks, and that's something that he's learned how to do. If you've just seen it with the Lawrence Okoli fight, and he's just a completely different beast these days.
I listened to the radio this morning, and they were disputing the betting odds as to why Chris is such a large underdog. I mean, any thoughts on why that might be? Has everybody got this wrong?
It's 12
the
to 1.
bookmakers,
I think it's 12 to 1 or 14 to 1 for a knockout. So, for Chris Billam-Smith. But two 15.5 stone guys like whacking each other. I think that's pretty good odds.
Let's bring in Angel Fernandez. I understand it's difficult up here hearing what each other are saying. What have you done with Richard that you think has made him a better all-round fighter since he's been with you? We know that he came to you as a very explosive, I think, if you don't mind me saying, a raw puncher at times. What have you worked on, and what do you think the key to victory is for Richard Riakporhe?
Obviously, we start in working on the technical side, a bit more tactically, but I think lately a bit more spiritual, mentally, and he's going to be ready. We expect him the best. CBS, we have a lot of respect for the team, and they're going to expect the best Richard Riakporhe to date.
What advice can you give Richard from a mentality point of view in terms of a packed-out stadium and a first world title fight? Is it just trying to keep a lid on things until you need to flick the switch, or is he a natural performer anyway, and you don't need to worry about that?
He is a natural performer. All these things we speak in the camp, he knows what he needs to do. He is the professional, and he will rely on me in the corner just to see if we need to change things. So he is going to be a very good fight on Saturday night.
I'll just give the opportunity for you two to give one final message. So if I'll ask you first, Richard, what is your final message to CBS?
My final message is just to take care.
That's a nice message. What is your message to? Probably not what we wanted for a big press conference, but hey, it's a nice thing. What's your message to Richard?
Thank you. I will.
Maybe this is one of those where you don't necessarily need the table to go flying and the verbal battle. If you've watched the first fight, I think everybody knows deep down it was a very, very close fight, a very, very good fight. Both fighters have obviously got away and improved. And I think my poor reputation here, I've got to stake it that this is nailed on to be a very, very good fight. Ben, help me out here.
It's huge. Look, they know each other well. There's a lot of respect there, but equally there's a big rivalry. Chris will want to get that one loss off his record and move on to unification. Richard's chance and best chance, and probably the best chance he'll ever get to become a world champion. There's a huge amount on the line on Saturday night for both guys, a life-changing amount on the line. And doors will open, as I say, 4:30, over 15,000 already in there. Anyone in London who wants to witness a 50-50 spectacle and a great advert for the sport, we'll see you down on Saturday. Thank you to the fighters, thank you to Skysports, and thank you to Crystal Palace.
Yeah, I just actually want to follow up on that. What a great advert for British boxing the two of you are. The way you carry yourselves and two great role models. May the best man win on the night. Just to echo what Ben said, there's the Kiss FM takeover, the fan zone with the Euros, and some big name live performers still to be announced. And approximate 10 p.m. main event, so it's a nice early one for everyone at home as well. We're going to break now for the final face-off. Everybody stay in their seats so you can get a clean shot. I know both fighters will be available for one-on-ones.